Okay, so who wants to recap a bit what happened last time?
Lots of cringe.
Yeah, so last session, as we were, thinking about how we're going to, hoping that seeing what move Venom would make in response to us getting Alexei, the Vodnik boy, on board, we were invited to an opera by House Orpheus, which Dennis told us a bit about the house, Lord Silax is the one in charge after the horrid demise of his brother. What a tragedy. And Dennis has also told us that, in his professional opinion, Silax is a moron, doesn't know what he's doing, is seemingly incapable. Told a bit about his wife, Cassia, formerly of House Ravenum. After being told that, decided to go, and as we were watching opera before the dinner, Cassia came to meet with us and told us that, her mother wasn't happy. Her mother wasn't pleased with the situation, which Daniel does not know whether to believe that was if that was true or if that was just a thing that was said. Either way, it achieved basically the goal it wanted. Essentially agreed to just work with the Venom, not really tie in Vodnik any more than he has to be. And that was reinforced when we went to the dinner. And, we saw how thoroughly Silax seemingly does not have control over his own household, as well as how, let's just say, self-destructive he's becoming as he was drinking a lot, he was getting aggressive, eventually he was told to leave. Lexi made a complete fool of himself. Absolute fool. To the point where Scott basically thought he either had an affair with Cassia or was interested in her. Eventually, as we were leaving, Cassia pretty much just told Daniel, "So, do you see what I mean about him?" To which Daniel said, "Yeah, no, this man's a fool. I don't think I can do anything with him more than I have." And then Daniel and Scott criticized Alexei, to which he responded by looking like a chastised child. But, you know, whatever happens with Alexei happens. As then the deal went through with Ravenum, and nice profit was made that, had to be split, but even with the split, we gained 2 wealth. And we were then told that something happened as the captured Nick spy was being sent to the spaceport. There was a disaster. Havelock almost died as well, but the spy is gone. But the methods to identify him, probably through dental records, still remain. So even if House Nix was not behind that, it's doubtful that they would not figure out what happened. So we are getting ready to send pretty much left out, pretty much getting ready to send a message to House Nix to meet with them, because better for us to reveal in a position of strength than for them to figure out and contact, than wait for them to contact us. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all that happened.
Yes, give me a second. I'm gonna create because I want to keep track of things, and I want to add another thing on Kanka to manage, because you have right now a couple of deals, and I think I'm gonna put them under a new category, house assets. So yeah,
We have the
trading
deal with House
idea.
Nix. We have the deal with the Melankov Court. And we now deal with Ravenum.
So you have the okay, look, yeah, them. So you have the weapon distribution. Uh, with House Kiss. And you have another one with House technically it's House Vodnik and
House Spotnik and Ravinum
yeah.
for the I think it's like the surface
Yeah.
things that catch like fish or something.
The fish harvesters.
Yep. And then we have to deal with the Melankov Corp for them to build that entertainment district.
Yeah, that's a work in progress. For now, it provides no actual value. But this ones I want to have them marked because it'll be at a point where we'll be like sort of, I don't know, end of the year. I'm not exactly sure how I'll do it. Where you'll like recalculate assets and see what kind of cost you still have. Fisher distribution. House Vodnik and there we go. And yeah, no, when the district will be finished, because each city, if you look on the map on the location, has a domain holding section, which basically details the more important facilities of the city. So, for example, for Heraklion, right now you just have your noble estate and the transit system. And when the entertainment district will be done, I'll just slot it in there.
All right.
All right, so that would be under assets.
Hey, Grunt, checking the location snap. Why is Arrakis here now?
It might become important later.
Oh, hey, I just
What
want
are
to
you
give a heads
talking
up.
about? Nothing. What are you talking about, Grunt? This nothing. Not listen. The spice comes in. The spice comes out. Nothing really goes in. It's how it's been. It's how it will be.
Answer me one question. Where are you distributing the weapons for house kills, though?
We are putting them on this planet.
It's not our problem. It's not our issue.
Also, side note, Foundry just stopped working on my end. This isn't connecting.
Let me do the thingy.
Besides, it's not like we're selling them directly to the smugglers. You know that if the people we sell the weapons to sell them to the smugglers, that's their business.
We are putting them on the planet, and we're saying anybody want weapons, and somebody is buying those weapons. Completely legal.
I'm a legitimate businessman.
You are a legitimate, like we've had this talk, and I know we've had off stream about like where the money's going if we ever got like, what is it, indicted?
Oh, if we ever got audited, like Daniel probably has it on the books. That's like theoretically, like everything's legitimate. The worst that, like, if you investigate it hard, it's cool. We don't care where the stuff's going. But like Daniel never directly sells the goods to an illegal service directly.
No, it's like, well, you have these buildings here that are selling stuff. No. We have the land that the stuff is being sold on, but what the people do on top of the land is not our concern.
Yeah, well, at worst they get closed down. Check the new link, see if that works now.
Okay.
Yeah, Daniel puts a lot of work into ensure that the main crime he can be accused of is negligence of duty and not actively abetting criminal enterprises.
Oh, by the way, the one thing I want to retcon is instead of killing those 5 guys, I think we should make an example. Show what happens when you.
Daniel never said what he wanted done with them. He just said, "Tell Brick their time's over," and let Brick get creative.
I say send him to the Charybdis.
It's not gonna make an example though. No one can see the example.
Oh, that's a fair point.
Plus, there's making. Okay, so there's making an example, and since I'm watching Game of Thrones, and then there's being the Mad King. It's like
fair enough.
you can decapitate people or like cut off hands, or you can just burn them alive in the middle of town square. One will send
Fair
a
enough.
message, one will make you look like a bit unhinged.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, given the unfortunate news about the spy, did you already send a message to House Nix?
I think we were, but like we didn't make any roll for it.
Well, there's no.
If there would have been roll required, so yeah,
I was gonna say unless you want to like do something specific or special. And
yeah, no, it was literally just requesting requesting if there could be a meeting with them. Just playing it cool as if there's, not
Come
the
to a
fact.
decision.
Yeah.
Question is, how would you like to do them? Where would you like to do the meeting more, rather?
I still think their house. Show them that nothing's wrong. That we don't feel threatened by them. Bring them here. It's up to you, Daniel.
We'll go to their place.
Yeah. Then you would do that as at this point the road there is familiar. You know what to expect. As soon as your shuttle lands, as you see the city from above, labyrinthine maze. Well, yeah, at this point you know what to expect. You get escorted, as per usual, up to the noble estate. And as you walk inside, you'll see there's like Lord Damocles and Lady Anicia waiting for you to greet you. As Damocles again takes the lead and says, "Welcome, my good lords. It's good to see you again. Although I didn't expect to hear from you so soon, but I suppose this means you made this decision."
Yes, my lord and lady. I think we do have a bit to discuss.
That we do. Kind of like gestures for the guards. Shall we discuss it over dinner then?
Yes, I think that would be pleasant enough.
Yeah. As the guards would escort you to the usual guest rooms that you had last time as well. As they will leave you to unpack, freshen up a bit. Dinner is in like an hour or two. If there's any conversations, anything you want to hash out before the actual meeting?
Scott is going to write on paper just so that there is no noise coming from it. And suggest Daniel does the same.
Yeah, Daniel will, yeah. And on the paper, Daniel just writes, keep it cool. We don't accuse them of anything. We just show them that we knew about that man and that we found him out. After that, we can move on to other negotiations.
What are you thinking?
Keeping it kind of short. Pursuing an alliance with them, our best interests. They've proven their men can get into our city. Don't want to be on their bad side.
There's gonna be like him tapping on the paper, and it's gonna say, "Separate Damocles from the lady to get a better deal?" Question mark.
If you see an opportunity, be careful.
Do you think I can take him in a verbal spar?
Which Daniel is going to just write on the paper. I think you can keep up with him, but beat him. That'd be hard. That'd be difficult for me.
Have him introduce me to the betrothed to be. Talk about arts.
Might work.
I will wait for a cue, if any.
You'll recognize it.
With that, he'll take the paper, rip it up, put it into some water till it's all powdery, and then just throw it in the toilet and flush. Unless there's something else.
So, as you get ready for dinner, do you have a plan on splitting them up exactly?
Yeah. So we know that the lady is not a good communicator,
Mm-hmm.
and we know Damocles does most of the talking. Scott can probably keep between Daniel and Scott, we could probably get the two separated so that Damocles talks with Scott, while Daniel, the actual ruler, talks with the actual ruler.
And I think part of the plan to do that is to once we reveal it, and then talk about reveal the spy that we had caught, and reveal the and then also talk about reveal that we knew about that, and then talk with them about the marriage proposal. Using Scott's going to try to talk to Damocles about meeting with the prospective bride, and kind of doing a talk about art and the like, trying to play into Damocles' own interests to try to give, I think, Daniels some time alone to speak with the actual ruler of House Nyx. At least I think that's what Dick is planning for.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's our best bet, and it shows a level of strategic thinking and where we work best.
Yeah. So, as you head for dinner, by the way, in these couple of hours, the annoying sounds are not present. They don't seem to be interested in annoying you or tiring you out this time. As you arrive to the dining hall, as you see them kind of seated on one side of the table, close to each other, and there's 2 seats on the other side for the two of you. As Damocles gets up and says, "Welcome, my lords. Please have a seat. Food shall be served momentarily."
My thanks, Lord Damocles.
And as you can all sit down, and there's a servant that comes and fills your cups with wine, says, "What?"
Yes. Daniel takes a sip of the wine. Actually, call the servant back open. He'll give the servant the data pad that we had gotten from their captured spy. Please give this to the lord and lady.
The man nods as he'll take the the item and go around the table, handing it to Damocles, and kind of like take a look at it and start like scrolling through the information. What sort of information is on here exactly?
It's pretty much the information that the spy had given us, including the stuff that's like in his own writing, just to show that like, yeah, we got him, we flipped him over, we had gotten the stuff from him.
Can I
So
do
it's
a understand to see what their
yes.
their thoughts are?
So this is just information that the spy had basically on the building project.
Yeah,
And
it's not like anything I doubt they don't already know, but the fact that like we have it means that we would have had to have gotten him, flipped him, or done something with him.
yeah, he like reads through it. I will guess I'll have to roll because it's technically a count roll. There's my discount token. So it's got to be a discipline roll. Discipline. Seven. Class has focus.
Damn.
Can't read him. But he like spends. How much information is there? Like,
However, well, it was your spy, so however much you say that he actually gathered in time, but he knew our whereabouts. He knew
I don't
what
remember.
we were
This is
building.
why I'm asking you. I don't remember.
Yeah, he knew. He knew
It
quite a
would have
bit.
been
And
his last. Okay, it was his last unsent report.
I was gonna
Because
say
the caption was his last report, which was mostly on like I assume the building project and the fact that we were moving people
Okay.
in.
because he would have been there for some time, and there was like a small little book you could write. So it's okay. So it's just like the last report,
Yeah.
last days.
It's not like giving him everything. It's more just this is just the proof that like we compromised him. So
you
just
know.
like the opening hand of listen, we know about the spy.
Yeah, he'll read it for about 5 minutes, which is a very silent 5 minutes. I'm not sure if you're gonna say anything. As you like pass the data pad to his wife, let her, and she starts reading it as well. And then he like looks at you and says, "Some interesting reports. I'm a bit confused though as to this intent."
The intent here. The man that we captured, and the man that was interrogated,
I see now.
he said that he was of your house, and well, if he was, I don't have any particularly hard feelings about it. It's the way this game is played.
And you believed him.
He's dead anyways.
Convenient, I suppose.
Yes, one of my men almost died transporting him to the spaceport.
If you'll excuse me, my lord. You come here. I appreciated the free information, but you assume it was our spy that we can't really question now because he died under your watch.
Trust me, I would not risk that agent's life that I sent with him. That man's more valuable than Just kind of petty deceit.
And how would I know this is not some sort of elaborate deception? How do I even know your agent was in any sort of danger? You must. He kind of like chuckles a bit and says, I think you misunderstand my skill set. I am no master spy, and, well, we have ears and eyes in many places. Kind of like gestures of the data pad. This is, well, we knew about the corporation investing in your city when you can see the construction site from a mile away, but most of this is rather new to us. And I can assure you, we did not send any spies to your city.
Can I tell if he's lying?
Oh, Daniel thinks he's lying completely. I'm not even going to roll for it.
I want to roll for it.
A roll for it.
All right. Should I buy threat for this? Do you think this is worth a threat?
Yeah, go ahead, buy
Yeah.
that for it.
Yep, I'll buy 1 threat for that. So that's 3 dice.
Yep.
Oh, today's not my day.
Neither it is mine, so. Oh, God. Yeah, no, you know what? I don't even. Let's say just you kind of like staring a bit blankly at him as he like. Says, he is not lying. He seems rather confused. He seems happy that you just gave him so much information for free, but he seems very confused at the spy accusations.
What's her
I'll look
response?
at
She's reading the. I'll roll for her as well, I guess. Like a second.
That's not a separate roll.
I mean, you can roll again if you want.
With 1 success, I think that would be a good idea.
Where is she? There we go. She should have. It's 7. She has that. And let me pull up the cheat sheet. I think I can spend threat to buffer stuff. So I'll spend all the threat.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh,
Jesus. Yeah, that's a shit roll for her as well. You do get 1 XP, by the way.
I will take it.
Both of you. While he seems confused and she is angry, she probably knows more than him about the situation, and something is making her really, really angry.
Scott's gonna cough and say, Damocles, I'm sorry for the accusation. Like this is him talking to Damocles, but this is the sign to let Daniel know that she fucking knows. But Damocles, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insinuate that you would do something so sinister to our house after graciously accepting us into your home.
No, tis your uncle is right. Each house has, most houses tend to have spies and, well, infiltrators, you know.
We've been talking uh about the possible alliances and the dangers that represent both houses. If it's not too formal of me, would it be possible to meet with or see the possible betrothed?
That's right, because you did talk about, right? I'm not misremembering that part.
Yeah, we did
If it's
mention that, and yeah, and Daniel would speak up at that. Yes, actually, I do apologize. My instincts often lead me in the correct spot, but sometimes they do get away from me. But the alliance with House Nix was still, regardless, something we were interested in pursuing.
Give me like a second to find maybe a picture. A bunch of them pre-prepared.
I jump moment.
Yeah, this would go. I was looking for someone who looks more young.
It's not an iJub moment. iJub would have taken 30 minutes.
No, I actually have like a folder of them saved on my computer already. So
okay.
yeah, let's say we need to clear this situation.
Let's let them clear. You and I would like to talk to you personally about something. Anyways, so let the leaders clear the air, and you and I can have a wonderful conversation.
Oh, why don't you give me a communicate roll? Try to persuade this man.
Which I have a
You
skill.
You have persuasion. I would say it's a difficulty 2 right now because you do have
Ooh.
the momentum.
Do we
and
have
this...
any momentum?
No, you don't. But you do have the momentum, narratively speaking.
I would. If
Ooh.
you want to buy some set, man.
Ooh, yeah. How much threat should we buy here, though? Two threat for
Do
4
you
days?
have? Do you have a statement with? What job are you going to use?
I do have for communication. I have persuasion for and this is partially about furthering our house.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you this: if it's only difficulty 2, I suggest roll it normally, but use determination because if we can get this would be good.
All right, determination.
So do you buy threat or no?
Should I also?
No,
if
you can use determination, I think you automatically succeed because that gives you a crit.
You're automatically going to succeed, yeah.
You might even get momentum out of this. Yeah, there's one momentum. And he kind of like looks at her, kind of like leans in and whispers something to her, and she nods as she's still reading the information. He'll, of course, as he'll like stand up and says, please join me outside then.
Of course, Damocles.
I can show you. We have some lovely house grounds that the gardener keeps well tended to.
I can't now wait.
As he'll gesture for you to like follow him through one of the side doors of the dining room.
He says, one moment.
Yeah.
What, my lord, do I have permission to take my leave?
Oh.
He'll turn to Daniel.
Yes. Go. Have some fun.
Okay.
That would be kind of hilarious. Be like, no, stay.
Well, he says just 1 minute. Just because because it is his lord, and he here to also protect him, so he is asking permission to leave. He's showing respect to his lord.
Yeah, so you, once given permission, you follow Damocles outside into this inner courtyard of sorts. It looks very like you can kind of tell what the idea was. The garden, so to speak, doesn't have any flowers because most of the plants are very recently have very recently put into the ground, and it's very like small. You would have expected, especially when you think of noble houses, you can expect like very grandiose things. This is very small, very contained. As he kind of gestures for a bench and says, "I a little personal project of mine. It find that it helps me clear out my head sometimes. This place can be rather bleak, and this is my little corner of paradise, I suppose."
I can understand that. I spent most of my life going to and from on a ship, so any sense of beauty and visitation is always welcomed. You've done a wonderful job.
He nods, smiles, and as you both sit on the bench, says, "Well, I presume it is something you wish to address to me personally."
Yes. If we could just talk plainly, not noble to noble, but as two people who start from the ground up.
Very well.
Why our house? Forget the politics. Why our house? Why did you come to us with such graciousness? I'm sure that, just like list of some other houses that would also be helpful. Like, these people are more established and we are up and coming. And
what kind of houses would you list? Because
let me look real quick.
Yeah, you kind of know most of them.
Yeah. What, like, I guess he would, because he'll be wondering why not marry up, I guess. Like, why not house? Orpheus. I don't think Orpheus is married, right? Is there that? Or yeah, sorry, he just got married.
He just got married.
Yeah. Why not house? Yeah, sorry. Like, why not house Charybdis? Moving up. Why not?
I assume there are other members of House Orpheus. I assume it's not just him right now.
Yeah.
Maybe distant.
There's each like I've said previously, each house has multiple members and distant kin, because you would keep the name of the house even if you're like cousin of a cousin of a cousin, be like, "Oh, hey, I'm still part of the house, guys. Don't forget about me." Like Alexi, right? Never.
Why not house?
Yeah, he'll
Draco or Hades or whatever, like the ones that would just be like beneficial to a house of
he chuckles a bit and says, "Well, there's marrying up, and then there is shooting yourself into space tied to a rocket."
Fair and understandable.
But that's exactly why would I extend the offer to you? Very fair question. I think it may sound rather naive to you, but because you are the people I can trust, although not in that way, but maybe more trustworthy. You see, most of the houses that are established, as you've said already, have so many ties to them, so many strings attached. There is gonna be an entanglement sooner or later. But the ones that are more new to the scene, recently uplifted, or we haven't been so active on the planetary political scene, they are much more upfront. When I talk with your uncle, with you, I am talking with your uncle and you. I'm not talking with people pulling on your strings. I'm not talking with minor houses above you that will use you as pawns. Mostly because I think you've been just recently lifted. Which, well, as they say, the early bird gets the worm.
Fair enough. Lord Nix, may I ask you a question? And I don't mean it as an offense, just kind of an observation.
Feel free.
You don't seem very comfortable in your own house. Are you the lord of the house? Like, were you born into Nix, or are you
I have married.
married?
I have just recently married my
Congratulations.
lady wife. Thank you. If I don't look comfortable, it's because, well, such as yourself and your uncle, I am not a veteran of this scene. And honestly, it was the last thing I expected to see myself doing. After many years of acting, but I guess some skills translate rather well.
We could have both agreed to that. Some of our past skills do translate very well. So, did she just find one of your plays interesting, or
Oh no,
how?
my
How?
as a my life is a rather complicated one, but unfortunately, my first wife, much better actress than I will ever be, died as a scheme of a jealous nobleman. And, well, we were presented with this opportunity to become something more for that tragedy.
Scott's gonna lower his guard a little bit and look at him, and he says, and like the noble speak kind of goes away, and he says, "As a person who's lost family, I understand what that can be like. I'm truly sorry for your loss."
He nods. There's definitely when he like speaks of his when he mentions his uh dead wife, there's like a lot of sadness kind of like underlying it, and to the point where he can't even properly hide it, honestly.
So, Lady Nix lifted you up to nobility.
No, it was one of the major houses, the one that who well, we were part of an acting troupe, and my wife, she was we were improv actors. We were brought in because sometimes complications happen, and people get sick or get injured, and they have to be replaced on short notice, and then you bring someone who can work with what little they have in little time. So, well, you see, my wife, she was truly a talent, and then that certain theater play managed to outshine the main actress, as it spurred the jealousy that eventually got her killed. But as a recompense and in her memory, the major house that attended that show and uplifted us, put, gave me the rank of noble, the recognition. But I decided that fresh start would be good, so how I ended up on Ashar with my 2 daughters and retainers.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, good men are hard to come by in this work, and I feel we will be all the better for it with your example.
You humble me with the praise.
I heard daughters. Are they back in the homestead?
No. I was previously the Lord of House Kairos.
Does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, I mean, you know that it's also one of the nascent houses of the planet.
Okay.
Would we be aware that it was their interference that stopped those first assassination attempts, or at least one of them?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I mean, yeah, you would know, but by the single fact that you know that House Kairos has a Suk doctor and their employee, which is very out there because Suk doctors are very expensive. Like normal nascent houses can't afford them.
To be told the Sook doctor stopped the assassination, well, which of these fucking houses has a Sook doctor?
Yeah.
Like,
but
he's gonna if he looks at Sky, he's gonna see like for him things falling into place and why he's here in the nascent house. And so you married this house to gain an alliance to give your daughters a head start to help them out. That's very honorable.
Nods. Well, I think maybe not to give them a head start, but you know, and maybe when you'll have kids of your own, I believe I sheltered them a bit too much. It was time that they were clearly ready, and I was mostly holding them back. And I had to step out of the way, but in this manner, I can still be helpful while also giving them the room they need to spread their wings properly.
He places a hand on his shoulder and he says, "I've been told it's a job of a father to want better for their children. Never apologize for that." And on a personal note, as the heir, Damocles, if you and yours need anything, me personally would be happy to help.
He smiles and nods and says, well, hopefully we can put this spy nonsense not behind us, because I wish to actually understand what happened. And I assure you, my wife, Lady Anicia, has wonderful daughters. Once you get to know them, they might be rough around the edges, but they are loyal and smart, devoted women. I'm sure you will get along.
With the upbringing and the training I'm seeing so far, I can't imagine their upbringing would have been easy.
Indeed, the Nixes have a very particular way of life. I can't begin to tell you how I felt the first week I was in the city. I don't think I'll...
o'clock.
Yeah. It's like, no, your wife woke up. I need to wake up everyone. The neighbors, everyone must know.
Who is this stranger in your house?
It's like, she opened the door from inside the house. Where did she come from? Damn it. So yeah, so he'll say, I don't think I'll ever really be able to wrap my head around how their city layout works. I've been told only people who grew up here can manage to navigate without an escort or guide.
I bet. Well, you've been so forthcoming with me. Is there anything you wish to ask of me?
I'm curious to see how is life treating you. I know the first months are usually the hardest, so hope everything is falling in place for you, other than, well, dealing with schemes and plots, which unfortunately do become a part of regular life for nobles.
It is definitely interesting. If you don't mind me saying, I felt safer in space with all the weirdness that can happen there, with all the pirates and hostilities, than I ever feel in the nobles, other than yourselves, city. Oh, it always just kind of feels like they're looking through you, if you know what I mean.
Nods.
Well, if there's nothing else, we should probably be going and meeting these lovely daughters you've told me so much about.
Well, meanwhile, inside the house, as the servants are bringing the food, um, Daniel, you're left alone with Anicia.
Daniel taking a sip of wine. Damocles is good at what he does. And said, why do you want him in your house?
She finally looks up from the data pad and just nods.
So he's difficult. He's a difficult man to read. And the implication there is that Daniel's giving there is that he's difficult to read. You're not.
Looks at you and says, is he? I find him rather open with maybe a bit too much.
He's an actor. Imagine he's a very honest person, but an actor's career is deceit, putting on masks, becoming different people.
Just like a half smile. Well, then I suppose he is just a bad actor.
Maybe he's bad at it, or maybe he's very good at playing the bad actor.
Maybe.
Yeah. Daniel will look down a bit and kind of like inspect like the cuff of his sleeve before looking back up. So, and what's give me a second. What's her name again?
Anicia.
Okay, good. Yeah, I have the conch open, but I don't have it open to characters right now. Lady Anicia. You think that Only when Damocles says he has no idea of anything, I actually believe him as he kept in the dark on such matters. I suppose if he's going to be doing the talking, if he's never lying, that'd be quite a useful thing.
I see what you're doing. Take him away and, I guess, question me.
Is it not what you would do in my spot?
I don't question people. I kill them.
Suppose that's a very final answer to all the problems.
It is. In fact, in this sort of job, you don't really ask questions. It's not really our place.
I
But
understand.
I do understand why you think I might be keeping my husband in the dark. You think he is some sort of, what? Naive little puppy that doesn't understand the nuances of this life.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think he plays the political game quite well. And in the end, a man who can believe truthfully in everything he says as a way of convincing people. He doesn't have to make a slight pause. He wouldn't have to make that slight pause barely perceptible to keep deception in line with others, to think on the fly. He is kept in the dark, which is what I would have done. It means that he can flow naturally, which seems to be one of his strong suits.
What is it that you want?
I'll be forthcoming. The alliance that you suggested through Lord Damocles is something I am interested in. I think that I do rather make friends than make enemies, especially with one such as yourself. I don't want to be one of the. You said you don't question people; you kill them. It's a very final solution to problems, so I'd rather not be that problem. So this, I'll admit, I may have overplayed. I may have read the situation wrong. Possibly. And if I genuinely did, there is genuine apology from myself to you. But the chance that I didn't read it wrong, the chance that this was an infiltrator from House Nix, I wanted to show that in the end, partnerships I enter into as equals. I do not serve others. I help my friends, I help my allies, I help my contacts. I don't serve anyone.
She seems like she wants to say something, like kind of catches herself. I shall be forthcoming with you as well. Although my husband would probably advise against this. We do one thing and we do it good. Our people, they're like shadows. They go in, they go out. Take their target seriously, and they do their job lethally. Spies, in my experience, are like chameleons. They will blend into their surroundings. They will be able to talk their way into situations. They'll be able to talk their way out of situations. Do you think I train my assassins to talk?
See, Daniel will shift a bit.
And even if you caught one of my assassins, do you think they would talk to you, or do you think they would take their own lives before you get to torture them to spill any sort of secrets?
It appeared was the former condition then. As I said, my deepest apologies. Instinct is often right. There are times when it does lead me astray.
No, it is quite alright. I feel like we are all a bit maybe too on edge. I lost my temper earlier, and I shouldn't have. But this, you must understand, it's pretty much an informal declaration of war to my house, implicating my name in someone else's dirty business. And I will find out who did it. Now I'll make sure to rip out their tongue so they can't lie with it anymore.
Can I question can I do an understand roll? Because
Yes.
Daniel's pretty sure that this is the truth, but Daniel's still a man who would read it even if he thought it would only confirm what he already knew.
Yep. Control. Well, I will also reroll with my discount token.
All right. And how much momentum do we have?
1. You can add 1 more dice if you don't want it.
Yeah, by 1 momentum.
Oh shit, why did I roll 4 dice? What the fuck? Oh, that's... Why is there 5 success? Let's go again. Never mind.
And yeah, I'll also buy threat. 1 threat could bump that dice up from rolling up to 4.
Yep.
And I don't think the statement for every deal broken, 2 more are kept would apply here. Correct for truth?
No.
All right.
I don't think you've broken anything with her.
Yeah, no.
You made like some assumptions which may or may not be completely correct, but if you like betrayed them, would have been like, yeah. So it's like 4 difficulty.
Yep, understand and truth aren't the best, but I think it fits the most here. Even though it was a complication.
Wanna spend some threat to ignore the complication?
Always.
Okay. So yeah, she does seem to have regained her steel complexion. She is unreadable. The block of stone has returned. The wall of ice.
Yeah, Daniel, unable to get the confirmation of what he already assumes. Daniel's gonna be a little cautious, but yeah, Daniel will look at her. It's the reason I wanted to privately confer. Nobody would have benefited from this being made public, and I will say, I do not like people attempting to manipulate me. I like it even less when it appears that they succeeded. If I'm not sure if this will be the last agent these people send, but I think the next one that is caught, I think I'll send it here. You can use your methods on it.
There's like a half smile, almost like face immediately, as she just nods. Yeah, no, Daniel, this woman's a cold-blooded murderer, and she probably enjoys it too.
Yeah, Daniel can actually genuinely understand that it's a different thing than he personally takes enjoyment in, but Daniel also takes enjoyment in hurting people. He just likes to use words.
Meanwhile, outside, Scott, you want to go with Damocles to meet your betrothed?
Yeah. So far, Scott will tell them about the opera that they just saw and just talk about literature and plays and other things at the moment. Try to befriend Damocles a bit, get some similar interests.
Yes. There's a pleasant conversation to have. As one, drop it into the correct box. There we go. So as you kind of like leads you off to a separate side room. It's a bit hard to see, but you do spot 3 women sitting down on a couch and some armchairs. And as you both walk in, all 3 of them stand up. As Damocles just kind of like bows politely and says, "Lady Althea, if you would give us a few moments of your time." And she nods. And kind of like steps a bit closer to Scott. And this place, like I said previously, is very poorly illuminated. So you kind of like group around a light source, so you can actually see her kind of like facial complexion. As she's wearing a very simple dress, very elegant, and has like a long flowing dark hair. Her face stone cold, expressionless. As she kind of like bows slightly to you and says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Lord Elias."
He'll bow back and say, "The pleasure is mine, my lady." I'm going to try to read her body language and see what her first fucking thoughts are. Or that's the truth.
The first impression.
Is this worth a threat? Is this worth a threat?
I'll leave that one to you.
7.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this because I'm like, on one hand, like we're not pussies, but on the other hand, like Grit does have a tendency to bite us when we're at our weakest. Yeah, you know what? I'll buy that one threat. Why not?
Okay.
Because he's looking for.
I also spend 1 threat, so
Awesome.
there we go. Damn. Oh no. I need to actually. She does. This is important for her, and she's gonna put all of it down. Determination. There we go.
Oh no, we never figured out what to do with ties.
Well, ties generally kind of I kind of like give them to either if there's like some sort of advantage you may gain from like a trait, but or maybe like the situation, or just give them to like the active user in this case. So I'll say this. Well, it's clearly very hard to get any sort of like there's like no emotion that like is betrayed by her face, but you do pick up on the fact that her breathing is arrhythmic to the point where it betrays kind of like a tension maybe or slight anxiety. You're not really sure. She is clearly trying to impress, you think.
You can relax, my lady. I just would like you to be yourself. That is all you need to do.
As she nods and says, I kind of like looks towards Damocles and he just kind of like smiles and kind of like nudges her on and she says, I am. That might be a bit difficult. We are. I'm afraid my skills in etiquette are quite lacking.
I would not require you to be the most etiquette. I was a trader who traveled the galaxy before this. Etiquette in double speak is not really my forte, my lady.
Damocles kind of like leans a bit into you as he like whispers and says, social interactions are not something that common in this household. So lean into your spacefaring charm as he like backs off.
How? May I take a seat? If there's any chairs around, are there chairs around?
Yeah, there's like some armchairs and a couch as she like nods and will take a seat, kind of like take a seat on like one of the edges. Just got them, it says.
These two.
And Damocles will sit on one of the armchairs. So you can either sit on the same couch as she is, or take the second armchair.
I will, if she is not comfortable with personal action, I will not sit. I will just sit in one of the armchairs at the edge of the seat. So, my lady, tell me, what are your interests? What is it that you like to do?
She looks at Damocles again, and then like back at you. I like walking through the city. It's comforting and relaxing. I like. Kim glances at them, or like trying like check her words. He's just kind of like nodding along with her, and she says, "I like reading."
Well, you'll be happy to know if you ever come visit our city, our fair city. I have a library of books that I have gathered throughout the galaxy. My uncle, my lord, has made sure that in our travels that I would study profusely on the different planets and cities. If you would ever like to take some of those books, I would graciously bestow them to you.
Damocles looks at you and says, Lady Althea, when she says she likes reading, she means, well, Gina's swordsmanship manuals.
I'm sure I can find something for that.
And when she says walking through the city, she means, well, training.
I'm sure we can do that too.
She just kind of like forces a smile. Feels very kind of like practiced.
Ouch.
Says, yes, I would like that very much.
My lady, is there something I can do to make you feel more comfortable?
No, can I do anything to help you feel more comfortable?
He's gonna look. He's gonna look at Damocles like, help. Because Scott's not really been in that, probably not been in that many relationships just based on his job. He's like, Damocles, what do I do here? He's just giving that kind of look like, help.
Well, why don't we... tell me, Scott, are you an amateur sword fighter?
I have had the barest level of training. I have tried to study and increase my skills due to a recent duel I had.
She can like see her eyes kind of like focus you. Suddenly paying much more attention.
I've always tried to increase my skills, but due to my be able to at least defend myself from individuals, I've always wanted to increase my skills in the craft, but until recently haven't had the time. I've recently picked back up the sword and try to train at least a couple hours a day when I can find the time between correspondence, running the city, and the like. But I've never had a good enough trainer.
Then maybe... like looks at Althea, see? You already have something in common. He wants to improve his swordsmanship, you want to improve yours. She does seem to be a bit embarrassed by what Damocles is doing right now. There's I think maybe sparring together might, well, ease some of your worries and concerns.
My lady, if you are up for it, I have no problem sparring with you.
Would be honored. That is one of the few things I enjoy doing.
I would always, if you ever wish it, I will be always happy to be a sparring partner for you. We can improve together.
There's like a faint smile, but this one feels actually natural as she nods.
He'll instead of asking Damocles, Oscar, is there a place that you like to train at?
Did you ask him?
I'm asking her.
Oh,
She's talking to her. Is
I
there
see.
any place
Yeah.
that you...
Says, well, we have training facilities here. Damocles says, why don't you join us for dinner, Althea? Maybe you can continue the conversation there. I feel we've left your mother alone for too long. As she'll nod and she gets up. As Daniel, you see walking back into the dining hall, you see Damocles, Scott, and a young woman walking as they'll sit at the table. And she'll actually sit next to Scott. the bit servants, I'll get like a third share. As I mean, yeah, Scott, you can continue to. You can give me a communicate role if you want to, like, because now you know, sort of, you have an entry point of a topic she actually is interested in. So give me a communicate role. I would say difficulty 3 to
Yep.
break the ice properly.
Communicate. All right.
Yep.
That's also with persuasion
Yeah.
or inspiration.
Inspiration definitely would work.
All right. I'm also gonna buy 2 threat with that because I really need this to work.
So it's 3 threat for 2 extra dice.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm willing to spend that.
Yep.
Wait,
There we go.
Vaz, are you okay with that? Because I really
I have
need
no
this to work.
issue. I have no issue. Take the initiative. Just like that, baby. That's winning.
She is enamored with you. You have. It's actually a It's actually a conversation now. Conversation about how you best kill someone, but it's a conversation that flows naturally somehow. And while it's a very different conversation, while Alexei was much more into the Gina's style of flashy swordsmanship and kind of like boasting and like the showmanship of the art, she is much more brutal, efficient, and precise. And she's much more interested in killing the opponent as quickly and deadly as possible. Finishing them off just immediately.
Which Scott is okay with. You know why? Because if this is his wife, then nobody's gonna fucking touch him.
Yeah, no. She's everything she lacks in decorum, and she would probably be lost at the party. She probably more than makes up in her skills with a blade, and just like the way she seems to compose herself.
Hypothetically, could she take on Havelock?
In a fight?
Right?
Yeah. I'm curious. Like, that's a legitimate curiosity.
I'm not actually just did the meme.
I mean, Havelock's very good. It would come down to basically a roll, because I think, yeah.
I mean, the good thing is she'll get better at combat as she trains, and you can learn how to be a people person. You know, Daniel learned how to be a people person.
So yeah, no, Havelock is an assassin. Like, his traits and like his talents are based around assassination. If it's a duel, it would just be a roll of the dice between the two of them.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I'm fair. That's fair.
In an assassination mission, she's not going to be better than Havelock. Nobody's going to be better than Havelock.
Nobody's going to be better. I didn't expect that. I was just expecting in a duel.
But yeah, no, she is freakishly good at it. From what you can tell from the conversations you're having, as Daniel, you do see that your nephew is wooing the lady with talks about gutting people in the most precise way possible.
Everyone has their hobbies.
Damocles kind of chuckles at that and says, well, my wife's eldest daughter is currently doing acting lessons. So my hope is that once that phase is done, maybe some of her sisters would also be interested in taking some classes. Acting is a beneficial hobby, even if you're just an amateur at it.
Yeah. The ability to talk with others is a skill that can be learned like any other. Some are just more naturally gifted to start off with.
I feel like learning a bit goes a long way. I am not an expert with a blade, but I would imagine it's much more difficult to learn those sorts of skills than just being able to tell a joke.
See, Daniel kind of makes a gesture with the hand. There's broad similarities, I think, but no, there's far less consequences to overplaying with words and overplaying with a sword on average. At least not immediate consequences.
He nods. As he looks at Anicia and then back at you and says, "You managed to maybe resolve the spy issue. We've managed to
Yes.
clear the air without. Well, what do
The
you say?
misunderstanding has been cleared up, and I will find both myself and the lady here have a shared interest in finding the one who thinks they can manipulate us and ensuring they learn the proper lesson.
He nods. Says, "My lord, there is someone who I have a suspicion of being involved as. If when I was engaged with my wife here, I walked in on a rather interesting business meeting they were having, which was mostly him making some rather advantageous proposals for himself and his household, while my wife here was left holding the bag, so to speak. I'm not sure if they're involved in this incident, but they would have the capability and the skill set.
And they would be?
Are you familiar with those of House Hades?
Familiar with them.
Oh.
We are both, and just to remind me that Hades is patronized by House Cryptus, right?
Yep.
And we share a patron.
Yes, and well, Dorian is a sly fox, if I've ever seen one. He'll know how to. He seems to be the sort of man that can arrange a situation so that the deck is stacked in his favor. And, well, he is known to have, well, while most of us have eyes and ears, in many places, his spies are, well, everywhere.
Internally, Daniel is actually getting a little upset because he completely discounted Hades being more than tangentially involved with this. If this is the case, this is one of the few times Daniel has been completely wrong, and he doesn't like being wrong.
I will have this will be another counter roll because I want Damocles to see if he can like spot this. So I would say that's a discipline. Yeah, if you want to keep it inside. His understand is not that good, but yeah. I just want to see if he can like do this.
Under power. Yeah. We'll go with it. 2 successes.
Well, like that's 6. 8, 6 and 6. And that's what definitely have. And I'm gonna spend some threat.
It
So
was
please
bound
do.
to happen.
the one
Thanks
and
again.
then yeah, it'll be 1 XP for both of you, that's for sure. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Yeah,
Hey man,
damn.
listen, it
I'm
is
so
what it
sad.
is. Thanks for the XP, Damocles.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
Even the great fail sometimes.
it's true. Such a garbage roll. At least he didn't roll any complications. Like,
I was gonna say, damn. I was when I heard you were rolling threat, I was expecting, damn, he's gonna blow me out of the water.
yeah, no. Listen, no, he's good at talking. He's not necessarily good at reading people.
Damn, I
And
really times like this, I kind of wish I don't regret picking the ones I did, but it'd be really fun to have had that talent, which lets you on a successful roll, lets you basically, I think it's like either spend momentum or something like that to make somebody believe a fake thing about you. That would have been really fun to have.
Oof.
yeah, no, like his entire his talents is also like some hidden messages and winning. Like he in the communication test, he's like a beast, but just kind of like reading people. People can improve.
Hey, there's always room for improvement. You're never too good to improve.
I'll be an asshole and I'll roll for Anicia as well. You can also re-roll that if you want. Because Anicia has a different skill set, which is a bit better suited for this. Not much better, but
Yeah, I will. I'll re-roll and I'll see it. Oh, it'd be fun. Once it gets that done.
All right. It happens.
Focus.
Do you want to give me more XP, Crow?
You know what? Let's go. That's what I thought.
There we go.
But yeah, that's one more XP for all of you. But yeah, no, she like reads you, like she's gonna just lean in as Damocles clearly not spotting your grimaces. Like she whispers something to him, and he kind of like looks at him and says, "Are you acquainted with Lord Dorian by any chance?"
Prior to my house's ascensions, we had a business relationship, and I had completely discount. I had thought that he might be the result of this, but I'm not ashamed to admit that it would appear my instincts in this case have been entirely wrong. I dismissed him as being no more than tangentially related to this, but it appear I said, in this case my instincts were quite off the mark.
You wouldn't happen to be able to tell me how exactly you've come to interact with him? He is not the most sociable of people.
See, Daniel nods. And for my sake, Grant, I'm just going to tell you what the thing I'm going to tell them instead of trying to make it all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Daniel's going to make it seem like, my people are competent, and, these people know that Daniel will basically, not like straight out say it, but more or less admit it that less than reputable trading was done sometimes, and Dorian needed people who were competent and would not speak of matters And so they did it, and it was, how they connected to House Crypt. It's basically kind of like filing off the truth a bit, but more or less like, just it's a creative version of the truth, just not telling them what the job was.
Yeah. Do you want to give me a communicate? This will be an opposed roll with Damocles, because I want a communicate roll from you if you want, or you can roll something else, but he's gonna use communicate in this discussion because it's gonna be like a back and forth more or less.
You communicate, I'll use power, and power is a justification in and of itself. Would that be apply here for the determination?
Yep.
All right, and then by one threat. Do we have any momentum left? I don't.
You
think
have
we
3
do, right?
momentum, so you can buy 2 dice with it. You want to buy that?
Yeah, because I don't. Failure here would be bad. 7 successes, and I'll spend the threat and I'll gain 2 threat to ignore the complication. Daniel respects Damocles, which is why at this point, any reservations are gone. This is Daniel at his fullest.
Damocles uses I think only Anicia used her determination, right?
I think only Anicia did. I don't think you ever mentioned Damocles doing it.
Yeah, so this will be important. I'm gonna also use all his shit.
Mention you have 3 threat now, so you can get an extra dice for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's that. Communicate.
With a result like that, Daniel wouldn't even be mad if he lost. I mean, he would be a little mad, but be impressive.
Okay. By 1 you may create a new threat. Yeah, no. A battle of the giants. But yeah, no. He, as you kind of like, yeah, you tell him, but you maneuver the truth. You give him half lies, and you realize the way he's asking questions, though, it seems like he also knows more than he's letting on. He's just kind of like trying. You feel like he's trying to probe to see exactly how much you know. And he hasn't gotten to that point, and he's not committing. You feel like he's holding a rather significant piece of information related to Hades and some incident that happened.
Wonder what that could be.
Yeah, and
I wonder what it could be. Nothing.
He's trying to basically see kind of how much you know. And this conversation, by the way, Scott, you're not even understanding what they're. It seems a bizarre exchange of phrases. At this point, Daniel, this is a conversation between you and Damocles. Damocles is inserting certain messages, certain hints, certain things that just even Anicia looks a bit perplexed at what is going on right now. But I will say, because he does have the masterful innuendo, he rolled 5 successes, so I'll just give him this. He wants to know if you are responsible for the assassination of Theos Orpheus. And
wants to know.
And the response you can give him back, or rather, yeah, he wants to know because he also knows the other people who've attempted to take his life before But this is something that you realize only you pick up. Anicia
Only
is
I-
blinded by this. She has no idea what. She just thinks this is a very weird conversation.
Moment of truth. How much do we trust Damocles?
I would. So what I'm. Is there a way I could answer still without the others picking it up? Like make an implication of, oh, we were like, say something like, we were affiliated with another job, but like he'd pick up on it, but the others wouldn't.
Honestly, with 7 successes, why not? I feel like you deserve this.
You know what? You know what? At this point, Daniel's seeing if he knows and he's directly asking it, that means the conspiracy's fraying. And Daniel knows he is the obvious scapegoat. If Hades gets found out and Daniel doesn't do something, Hades and the Talax are going to put him under the bus. So Daniel will, slyly, kind of hiding it in the conversation, say that pretty much say that they did.
Mhm.
But they would never have been able to do it without Hades and Talaxu.
Oh, okay. So, a moment he kind of like picks up on this. He immediately like stands up, fishes out a device from his pocket, and you do recognize it's one of those signal jammers that House Orpheus produces. He like puts it on the table, flicks it on, loud beep noise as it starts. And he looks at you, Scott, and says, would you mind escorting Lady Althea to the garden?
Do I just feel like the momentum shift? Like
The room temperature drops. The
I'm gonna look
facade
at
has
Dan.
broken.
I'm gonna look at Daniel.
Daniel gives the sort of nod that you would know before. It's the nod he gives when I've made a huge gamble. Time to see if it pays off.
Scott gives him that just fucking knowing smile. Like, yeah, I trust you. You got this. He tips his head. He he bows and then offers an arm.
And she's gonna take it.
And out the door he goes.
Yeah, and as soon as the door
This
closes,
is the funner option I had to take it.
yeah, as soon as the door closes, Damocles will kind of like lean back and let out a long sigh. Ooh, well, welcome to, and excuse my language, shit politics.
Indeed.
He leans in and says, the deal that Lord Hades was trying to trick my wife into making was a deal that would have left her holding the bag for the entire thing, left her open to be exactly what Lord Vodnik ended up as a scapegoat. As I think the betrothal was what? As she like looks towards her, barely a day old. In fact, I think this is why she was so desperate to get me to marry her. I see like chuckles, like the facade has kind of like dropped. She kind of like gives him a bit of a glare, but she doesn't deny it. Says, I've managed to secure, well, ensure at the very least that House Nix can't be directly linked but it was Nick's assassins that were also used in one of the assassination attempts. But
Dorian has a habit of trying to put his associates under the bus, I take it.
do you know what happened to Lord Gregor?
I'm familiar with it.
They conveniently found a lot of evidence to incriminate him and then exposed him publicly. And, well, I'm not sure if you're familiar with how Lord Silax does his business, but he executed the man himself.
Yes, I have spoken to the Lord Silax. He is a interesting man.
He is a fool that is extremely dangerous with a blade. Quick to anger and not really thinking of the consequences long term. And on top of everything, he was also grieving at the moment. So I believe Gregor would have been more useful alive and questioned, but it is what it is now. The fact that you bring the Telaxu down, that is terrifying to me. Politics I can handle, but the Telaxu are something a bit beyond my pay grade.
They are a sinister group of people. Sinister group of people who don't pay their debts either.
I feel like Mr. Hades, not Mr. I feel like Lord Hades has plenty of scapegoats, and if he is involved in this, he is trying to make us distrust each other. If we were both attached to this scheme, I believe it might have been in his interest for us to not communicate, and in fact maybe distrust each other.
That's what I would have done.
So what do you propose next?
Next. Oh. See, Daniel thinks for a bit. You have a man who could infiltrate his location, but, well, not sure how much I trust that man right now. He's has his own loyalties. But I would say, this alliance, it might do well to string the talks on a bit longer. Let Dorian, for a time, think he's accomplished this objective of his, that we are distrustful, feuding. A man confident in victory is more likely to make his mistakes. Meanwhile, we will need a method to properly communicate with each other. If we're feuding on the face of it, it wouldn't do for us to directly go to each other's palaces. Especially not alone.
shall have some messengers disguised as maybe transient tourists.
Yeah.
Something that will not draw too much attention, and exchange messages that way. But I am in agreement with you. Although I will say that if you need, well, help, and well, House Nix can provide, maybe kind of like, well, again, kind of like the land stores in EC. I'm not sure why the jab is necessary, but says, even if not the top tier assassins, they are loyal to a fault and very good.
It's really funny because Evanice is not picking up that we killed that guy. It's like she wouldn't get the jab. That's very funny.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Yes, I think we're in agreement. For now, at least. I have connections. I have sources, and I still do at least have the interest of my patron. I'll apply that as I can, and any information I gain, I'll have it sent along your way. Can only ask for. Likewise, wouldn't do well for any of us to go shooting in the dark.
He nods. And we'll get up and extend a hand to shake. Seems we are in agreement.
Yep. Daniel shakes the hand. That we are.
And with that, he'll pick up the device, he will deactivate it and stash it in her pocket. Meanwhile, outside, Scott, as you walk outside into the garden with Lady Althea, she looks a bit worried, but Lord Damocles is... I don't think I've ever seen him this serious about an issue. Do you think they'll be alright? Oh no, Dick.
The winds are always shifting and changing. Whatever it is, have faith that Damocles, your mother, and my lord can figure it out.
She nods. It has really been a pleasure to talk with you, my lord.
The pleasure's all mine, and please call me Scott.
Oh, she smiles and nods. A couple of minutes later, Damocles actually opens the door and summons you both back inside. As if there's no other talks you wish to have? Or specific discussions?
No, I feel like Daniel's going to tell me what the fuck.
Yeah. But that's going to be a conversation between the two of you, somewhere private. The dinner will finish and everyone retires to their quarters. I'm not sure you want to have the discussion here as you write down the whatever you talked about, or
Daniel is just going to write down, follow my lead, talk later.
Scott just nods.
and Yeah, as soon as tomorrow you pack your bags and at the door, Scott, you can feel there's like some tension in the air. Damocles just looks rather upset. Um, Looked fine last night, but as Damocles kind of like sees the two of you off and says, "Well, I'm truly sorry to you, Lord Elias, that we couldn't, well, put this matter behind us, but well, some things just aren't meant to be."
See, Daniel kind of like looking just straight ahead. Oh, thank you for the hospitality, Lord Nix. I wish the best for your house.
As there will be like an escort for you, as they will drive you to the shuttle bay, from where you will grab the first shuttle to Yorith, and then from Yorith to your own city. And before you know it, you are back at your noble estate.
Yeah. The act does not drop the entire way there until we are in the office.
Yep.
And as we go to the office, I'm going to lean into Dennis. Search my office for any listening devices, just in case.
Of course, my lord. He smiles and will begin checking, and there's like the sensor device. And about like 15 minutes later, closes the doors, and I already do want him to be a part of this conversation too.
Yeah, no, because I mean it's going to be important for him because hey, we do have a
Yeah,
spy.
he is your spy master, so yeah, he closes the doors with him inside the
Yep.
room.
And it's important because Havelock's not part of this discussion.
Yep.
Because don't know what the Talax would fall in this. So until then, he doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
As Scott, you see the anger just dissipates. They have an accord with House Nix. They know. Even if I took the gamble, he was asking me if you were paying close enough attention, though I don't blame you if you didn't pick up on it. Man's good at what he does. He was asking me directly if we killed Theo Orpheus. And I told him we couldn't have done it without House Hades or the Talaxu. That spy was almost certainly a Dorian man, a Hades man. He's burning his scapegoats. House Nix was almost one of his scapegoats. And we're going to make him think that he succeeded. And us and Nix, instead of talking about our actual enemy, we're going to be feuding, fighting with each other, distrustful. Let him think he's won. Let him think he's accomplished what he wanted. Meanwhile, you'll still be in secret contact with House Nix, and how do you like that girl, Scott? When we reach the end of this business, and the charade can end, I think she'd make a good wife.
Yes, my lord. Like, Scott's here, but you can see his mind just whirling.
Dennis brings me to you. House Hades, Dorian, is a spy master in his own right. He has men across the planet. Which is why you're going to have the challenge. First of all, I want to make sure none of his men get another routing into our city. And then we're going to need to start having our own men. I want to know what he's doing. I want to know how he's doing it. If that man changes his breakfast routine, I want to hear about it. I understood, Dennis.
I will do my best to achieve this, but I will warn you. Even through the deepest, crappiest holes of the spaceport, the Hades spies are well known and, well, makes me think if this whole thing was a charade, the people we found were probably the people we were supposed to find.
They were. And we played into their hands. We took that information and we went right to next. You're gonna have to consider the challenge, Dennis, because you will not have Havelock's help on this. Now that the lesser members of this conspiracy are feuding, we don't know where they'll fall. We need to involve him as little as possible until we know what the Kalaksu will do.
We have a major problem then, my lord. There's no one I can trust truly then. And he gestures to the people inside this room. Which, while I can do my duties, I require people I can rely on. Which brings me to my question. Should I bring in people from the outside, contacts from smuggling days? Or do you perhaps have people on planet that would stand out less, that we can trust?
Guy clears his throat. My lord, if I may be crystal clear, are we at war with Hades?
Not yet. From what
My lord, if that is the case, and I'm sorry to interrupt, you want to expand your operations, am I correct? To other cities?
Yes.
Dennis, now might be the time to put that into effect. We need to get a hold of the underworld. Everybody talks.
You speak of it as if we are the only ones on the market.
Dennis, you're the best in the business. You'll figure it out. Like,
I
Scott's in
need
like full commander
people.
mode.
I need people. I need agents. I can't do this alone. I need manpower.
Bring in the men from the old days. If we combine bringing them in with expanding on normal criminal operations, we can provide a cover. Hades might still know. They might still have an idea. But if we keep up this feud with Nyx, he may think we'll play. They may yet believe we're just playing at that game. Do it as subtly as you can.
Okay.
You acquire wealth to get it done. Ask for what you need, and I will see what the coffers have.
That's a fair point. Let me check.
We have 3.
Well, that's simple then. For each wealth you spend, I'll give you an asset that will be basically like a group of agents that you can deploy in like one city or like one area.
2 wealth. Keep 1 in reserve.
Okay.
I would almost say put 1 in Nyx just to keep the charade up.
Honestly, that is right. If we write to them and tell them we're doing it, they could. Actually, in character, yeah. If do you say that in character?
Yes.
I like that. Good. Still leaves us with 1 to move freely. You can see there's actually, unlike the usual like fake or diminishing compliments he gives, that's a genuine one.
House Nicks, if they know, can feed them information that's just too late to get to us through means. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as we're receiving information and it seems like we're trying to hide it. But House Hades knows.
What's the actual plan with Nyx? Because I have heard that.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Tick had the idea that because we're doing this treaty with Nyx, we put one of those assets into their city with their knowledge, So it seems like we're trying to expand aggressively into them, which means that Hades knows we have.
Okay, got it now.
That then leaves us the one other asset to put where we wish.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's actually really good. I actually didn't think of that out of character. I didn't even think of that. It's really good.
That's why we're the fucking dream team. We cover each other's, thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With that, Dennis will nod. Happy to have his old friends back. And unless there's any other conversations you two would like to have, I think that's a good place to end the session.
Yeah. Just one final thing as Dennis leaves, Daniel will look at Scott. This be another lesson. Don't get complacent. Your skills are never good enough to rest on your laurels. My instinct, my hunch, it's not usually wrong, but this time I allowed my paranoia, I allowed my fear to cloud my judgment, and I almost made a huge mistake. Never let your skills rust. Always test yourself, always improve.
You're going to feel like the most coldness out of fucking Scott. Scott's in a totally different mindset. He's going to look at Daniel and say, we're going to make them burn.
Indeed. I think myself and Lady Nyx are more alike than she thinks. We both like hurting people who've wronged us. We just do it in different ways.
Just when I thought things were about to be boring around here. Well, I have much to do and little time to do it. I will be on my way.
Yes, and Daniel will also leave. You don't need to roleplay it, but he's just going to go check in with Brick on how those men are doing.
I mean, unless you gave him specific orders not to kill them, they've been
I assume they are dead.
Yeah.
Daniel would not have given any orders. Daniel just wants to see what has been done with them.
They've been beaten to death and made to scream loud enough that everyone else heard them. And Brick did it personally himself.
Yeah. Good work, Brick. Good work.
So yeah, with that, we will close off the session.